proud to introduce to you guys the Memphis Mini Amp, built by Rick Davis. I'm also pleased to announce that I'm endorsing this amp, fully endorsing this amp. And I'm going to tell you a lot about it. You're going to hear more of this amp in just a sec, but let me turn the volume down. Let me tell you how I found this amplifier. I believe the first time I played it, I was at a club where I was doing a workshop, and Rick had the amp with him and set it up and said, hey, why don't you check it out, plug in. And from the first note out of the amp, I knew I loved it because it was this little 5-watt amp with guts. It was really loud and it had great tone, which are two things that don't very often go together in the world of small amplifiers. Usually the loud amps just don't have good tone, or the really good tone small amps like an old Supro like the one I have are not as loud as this and don't have some other things we'll talk about. So that's how I found the Memphis Mini, and this is an amp that comes in under 500 bucks, which is also probably the biggest selling point of this entire amplifier. Besides how good it sounds and the versatility of it, you can get it for under 500 bucks. It's got a line out on it, and I'm going to talk about how I line out this amp and how I'm setting everything. I'm going to really get into some detail here. And again, it's 5 watts. It's got a volume and a tone knob. Really simple. So let me just let me do this. Let me play the amp one more time for you now that you've heard it. It was just the amp. That's what you heard there. I've got it running through also, it's not on yet, but I've got it running through these powered speakers and the mixer here, and I'm going to go ahead and just unmute the channel so you can hear what it sounds like at a quarter turn on the dial, let's say, so at about 25% of the way up, not the halfway mark, certainly just 25% up, and then I'm going to bump it to 30 so you can hear the difference of what that sounds like. Again, to be very clear, when you line out an amp, you're simply running it through the PA system. So that's what I'm going to do. Put it back up. I've got the amp set on 7 on the volume. This mic is not a crazy hot mic. And I've got the tone at about, I've got it right just past 5 on the tone. So, without the PA, and now I'm going to unmute this channel and let you hear it, and then I'm going to go through and discuss how I set this thing up. So, we'll start at a quarter turn. Yeah, a quarter turn on the volume, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Loud. I mean, that would cover so many circumstances right there. That's all you need, is a quarter turn on that line, the volume on that particular channel. But if you bump it to 30, there's a dramatic difference. Mute this channel, turn this back down. I love this amp. This amp sounds like everything I was trying to find out of small amplifiers but could never really find. I could find the fuzzy champ sound, but I couldn't get something that sounded really clean and big and just nice, good tone that breaks up when I want it to, through hand technique and through the way that you really seal the harp off and the way you breathe. So that's a main reason I want to be very clear why I love this amplifier. I just couldn't find that before out of an amp this size, especially with that volume. You can hear it sounds like a big amp, and in this little thing here. Now, let me talk about what I got going on here. This is where it gets interesting. Let's see if I can do this without causing any crazy damage. I can't remember how this thing comes off. I practiced before. There we go. Okay, so again, just to show you right here, you can't see it, I'm sorry, it's really dark, but I have it set, the volume is set, was set to 7 and the tone is on like 5 and change. For the line out, there's a 1/4 inch line out in the back of the amp, and I bought an XLR Male to 1/4 inch and put the 1/4 inch in the back of the amp and the XLR Male running right into the board right here. What is an XLR Male? For those of you that just don't know, that's an XLR Male. Fits just like a mic cord would fit in there, okay? That has the best connection. I also tested it with a 1/4 inch. I find this to be superior. So get a high quality XLR Male to 1/4 inch if you want the best experience. I've got this, I was in channel 4 here, that was at 30%. So again, most of the time you just want like, sorry, I'm like not in the right area. You just want this, like a 1/4 turn, but you know, you could go as high as that. It just, the less is more. That's the rule. Here's something very important about setting, if you're going to line out, setting a mixer. I really tested this for quite some time. The bass. Roll the bass up. Let's get on the right channel here. Roll the bass up. See, I have it 75% of the way up. Somewhere between the 65 to 75% up on that channel. Mids I kept pretty much straight. I rolled them back a hair. And treble, same thing, but in the other direction. I went back. I turned it a 1/4 turn back on the treble. The trim is straight up. Everything, the powered speakers are straight up, 50%. The master is straight up. So just to let you know, for comparison basis, where everything is, that makes a huge difference. Sorry if I'm yelling in this microphone. So that's how I got the best results with this amplifier, testing it multiple times, different settings. That's what I did. I'm going to send you out, I think, with a little music here. You guys want to pick up this amp, check out the video description. It's available at harmonica123.com, but the link is provided below. Any specific questions, technical questions about the amp, direct them to Rick Davis, and I'll put his email in the video description. So, no, I'm not going to even turn on the PA, I'm just going to play the amp. So you can hear this thing. And by the way, I failed to mention, when I had it lined out, even at its loudest setting, I took the microphone and walked right up to everything, the amp, the speakers, while everything was on. No feedback. I'm not having any issues with the feedback, so that's also great. Gotta love it. Alright, you guys, thanks for checking it out. Here, just to show you the test real quick, PA is on. Microphone is right in front of like everything. There's no issues with, because you lined it out. Even when you turn it up to like that 30% mark, nothing. Even when you're hanging out right in front of the speaker, that's really good to know. I'm digging it. I hope you guys will check it out, and I will see you soon.